difference. That's the kind of fucking guy I am. I'm a heady fucking dude. I spend a lot of time up here, thinking about shit, and a lot of the stuff I'm thinking about, people go like, what the fuck is that? Where did that come from? That's what I do. That's the kind of person I am.
Are you the kind of person that sits down at a dinner party and people start a conversation with you and you pick up where you left off in your head, where you're like, oh, like it's already like you've been playing double dutch, and all of a sudden they're like, holy shit, I didn't know we were going to talk about all this right now.
I'm not quite. No. Like I don't spend a lot of time with a lot of people like that I don't know real well, but I tend to listen more. I let people, like, over the years of doing the podcast, I really just sort of like, I ask questions, I figure out where people are at, and then I go from there, and if something gets exciting about what they're talking about, then we'll start. But I don't like, I used to be like a kind of a pompous, loudmouth about shit, but I don't do it anymore.
Your podcast is so. Do you ever think about like the sliding doors of had that not happened?
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, I don't think about what would have happened had it not happened, but it wasn't good. Like I don't like, it was just one of those things where I started doing a thing and there wasn't very much of it out there, and my cosmic timing was just right, and my skill set was on the mark.
It was that it's the book that Malcolm Gladwell put out about
5,000 hours.
No, but the 10,000 hours. But you were in radio for real doing Air
a little
America.
bit. I didn't like. I wouldn't. It was probably better off. I wasn't a radio veteran.
You weren't a radio veteran, but you got the opportunity to learn.
I did. And the biggest thing I learned there was just that moment where I could I could man a mic myself. That was really the biggest moment, was that I could speak freely on a mic without being too self-conscious. That I learned on Air America when I started talking about my cats on a political show, because I just couldn't deal with the politics anymore. So I started talking about these fucking cats that I trapped. And I got so much email from it because there was an excitement about it and there was an engagement to it. So I realized, like, I can do this. Like, I can connect this way. Like, not everybody who gets on these mics.
No, but you could. But I would say I watched the process of growth.
Yeah.
At those early interviews.
Yeah.
Those early interviews.
Working shit out.
Were so good in that you were not handing anyone anything. If anything, you guys were going back and forth on everything. I remember those interviews so vividly. The one with Stanhope was like Janine Garofalo, like those ones, Patton, like Louis, like all those ones were like ones where I'm just like sitting there going like, this is not how it's supposed to be done. Like I remember being like, it's supposed to be friendlier. Like, why is it so like just being like,
I was not happy.
It was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful part of your personality. And by the way, when you started going to these, when you started going to bigger names and bigger talents, and it was just like, oh, this is because in that process, I feel like you became this A-class interviewer where it was like all of a sudden, like I remember like the silliest one was one of the Zappas, and I was just fucking riveted.
Yeah,
like I've never cared about a Zappa in my life.
Oh, recently. With
maybe I don't know,
with Dweezil, it was heavy, right?
Yeah,
sad, right? About his brother and his mom taking the money, and
then Bob Dylan's son.
Oh, Jacob, that's heavy.
I was like, I had one interaction with Jacob Dylan in my life. I sat at a table with him, and all I kept saying is, like, how much money do you make? Like, it was
weird because like that was delicate. That shit's delicate, because like I know how am I gonna. There's tricks that I've learned over time. So how do you get around to it? Like, you don't want to talk. He doesn't want to talk about his dad. And I don't know if that's because he's mad at him or what, but it turns out, no, he's not mad at him. And he calls him when he's got a question about songwriting. And it's like, it's my dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. So it took us 3/4 of an hour for you to like, you know what I mean? Like I got to dance around it,
Yeah.
But like that happens. So like today, even with Mike Campbell, like he's got, it was heavy, dude. It was
could you talk about Betty dying?
Well, that was the weird thing. Is like sometimes with musicians, I don't know how far I can go, right? Or in terms of like, what am I really going to get here? How long? It was a little under an hour, which is fine. But like I know he put out this new record with his new band, the Dirty Knobs, and it's okay, it's good, and a lot of it sounds like they would be good Tom Petty songs. But right out of the gate, it was wild because he sat down, and I don't know anything about him. but I love the music. And I just said, like, before we get going, man, I just want to say I'm sorry about the loss of your friend. And and he just was like, oh. And he's like, whoa, you think you're over it, and just give me a minute. It was like that, and I was like, okay, now let him have it, and then we get on with it, But so yeah, I was able to talk about that. I mean, what else is there to talk about with that? See, that's the weird thing about what I do is people go how did Petty die? It's like, I don't know. Do you think I'm going to ask that guy that? Yeah. What was he on? What was he doing?
It's almost like digging apart a casserole.
Why? But it's like, why? Like, there's the moment this guy lost his friend, and I pay respect to that, and he felt it. What do you care? Because right, but what do you care? Like how that guy died? Do you know, on some level?
Yeah,
he made a lot of great music. Whatever he did, he OD'd somehow.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know. I see. I would just avoid having that person on my podcast because I would be like, I don't know what to talk to him about.
No, but I had Ronan Farrow on, and people were like, "Well, did you ask him about who his dad is?" I'm like, "No. What are you, stupid? He's gonna give the same answer he gives all the time, and it's just gonna ruin the interview." And people were like, dude, and I kept looking at him though. I wasn't gonna ask the question, but I kept on. And I don't think he is.
Really?
No.
What's he look like? I don't even know what he looks like.
He's very handsome. But people put him next to Sinatra. But he was like 70 something. Sinatra. It's just not, it doesn't matter. It was a great interview.